Our trade sits at his desk, coffee in hand. The NASDAQ chart's on his screen, he's in command. He's a day trader, chasing dollars and dreams. Using ICT concepts, he's got some tricks up his sleeves. From Fibonacci retracements to volume spread analysis, Tyler knows the smart money, he's gaining an advantage. He watches the market like a hawk in the sky. With every tick and every turn, he's catching the high. Running with the smart money, kicking up dust. Tyler trades a day trader you can trust. Dancing with the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire. Dancing with the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire.
Yo, good morning, guys. Happy Friday, everybody. January 10th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Like the stream on your way in, boys and girls, if you'd be ever so kind. And let me pull the chat box up. See who we got in here so far. Good morning, Caven. Good morning, Allie. Good morning, Arrow. Good morning, Meta. Good to see you. Storm Scalp, good to see you. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, guys. Happy NFP Friday. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Nick. How you guys doing? Good? Let me get this out of the way here before I forget. Let me know how you guys are feeling today, bias-wise. Generally, these high-impact news days like NFP, I'm generally looking for a two-stage delivery event more so than anything. We did leave some levels of sell side still remaining here. I'll show you guys 1 second. So looking up here at ES and NQ side by side, if I close that, jump up here to like a 4-hour chart. We did leave a lot of relative equal lows down here. NFP hasn't been able to trade down to them as of yet. Potentially could see this run this morning. That's kind of the only thing I'm seeing that would make me trade against the two-stage delivery bias. Is all of this sell side down here still sitting on NASDAQ and ES. I'm gonna go ahead and mark some of this out. Sell side liquidity. Oh, nice. And obviously NQ already had taken that low at the end of last week. So we'll see if price wants to move down here. But that would be the only thing that would make me feel like we could just keep going lower here, especially in the short term. You know, after NFP this morning, was kind of hopeful that this would just kind of continue into the open and take out the sell side, and then that two-stage delivery would make a whole lot of sense. But with these lows left intact here, definitely has me feeling like we could short towards those lows and finish off this weekly candle. Potentially. We'll see how the market behaves as well, coming off of the day of mourning yesterday. Obviously, the market was closed all day. I don't even remember a single time. Like, I have no reference point of markets being closed since I've been a trader because of a former president passing away. So I don't know how the market behaves, if it behaves any differently at all, you know, after that happens. After we're closed for a day. So I really don't know. We'll find out together. Just kind of sifting through the time frames here, dropping down here, 15-minute. I'll probably go as low as that. We'll jump back over here and see what today has in store, man. Obviously, we've been selling off here. As you guys know, my bias coming into really this week, it started off bullish until really some key bullish PD arrays began to fail. Even once we got back down into discount, and we started seeing some higher time frame bullish PD arrays start to fail, and that was kind of the first sign that, like, okay, yeah, we're probably actually heading lower after sweeping out the previous weekly high. So that's just kind of how it worked out. So looking at the weekly chart, you can see the formation of this weekly candle. Came up, swept the previous weekly high, traded into, this was like a 1 hour or 4 hour imbalance up in this wick right here. And then obviously we've just seen price trading towards the previous weekly low ever since, and relative equal lows down in here. So absolutely looking like that's shaping up to be the draw here. Yeah, both ES and NQ right now trading up into obviously this big imbalance from the open. I'm sorry, from the NFP news release. So you've got your data highs and your data lows. Here's data high. Data high. And here's your data low. Make that a little bigger. So, something to keep an eye on here at these levels. I did not look at the opening range. Here you go. Pretty decent size opening range here. Opening range gap, I should say. I did watch the ICT, his newest video, I believe it was his newest video at least. I did watch his lecture about opening range, mainly because the video wasn't an hour long. I saw that last night. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll watch it. And I guess he was really just talking about the size of these opening range gaps, and then obviously just marking out that, nothing really super new, if I'm being honest. Like, it was basically just marking out the quadrants of your opening range gap, right? So if I were to just go mark this out, I have a template saved for this. Where is it? Quarters. Here we go. So that's really kind of like, it's kind of all the lecture was. He did mention that opening range gaps with, what did he say, like over 120 points, or he said 75 to 120 points, it's pretty iffy on whether price does want to trade back into that opening range gap or not. Kind of have to wait for some other concepts and PD arrays to form to have any conviction on a bias. And then I believe in that video you said anything over like 120 points is generally you see price just continue in the direction of that gap. So in this case today, our opening range gap is obviously 160 points. It goes against the idea of the two-stage delivery, obviously, but we'll kind of we'll see how that all plays out when all said and done. The 15-minute is forming a CISD. Yes, yes, it is. Easier to see if I take regular trading hours off. But I'm gonna keep this. I think I'm gonna keep this on my chart for now, unless it just looks messy and is messing with me. Then I'll delete it. I don't like too much clutter on my chart, but zoom out here a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can see we're setting up for a very nice recovery back to the upside here. I mean, beautiful, beautiful sell side just stacking up here. Oops, hang on. I'll use some horizontal rays. You can just see here like all of this smooth liquidity for us to just go run right back. Run right back to these highs. The question is when. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I was looking for an area where we could draw a projection from up in here, but I guess really, yeah, your last manipulation that took the high was so if you project out from this high to this low, I'm looking kind of at the weekly range here. Or actually, what is the date today? 10th, yeah. So this weekly range. Here's market open for the week. We trade up higher, manipulate. We've been selling off ever since. So projecting from there, this high to this low, that takes our -1. We've already traded down into -1 of the range going into this morning, and then obviously -1.5 and -2 would put us below previous weekly lows. Sell side liquidity. So just for reference. But yeah, about to get our bearish close potentially below these up close candles. Not totally a change in the state, consider we've already been bearish. True change in the state would have been when the NFP candle opened up and closed. We got macro in like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So yeah, let's see how this all shakes out, boys and girls. Let's see how much sensitivity price shows possibly to the data low, if any. Because I'll say this, like in NFP days past and even CPI days past, like it's just always every time I try to get fancy and do something outside of the norm, it's like price gives me a pretty clean Tuesday's delivery, and it's right more often than it's not. Sometimes you don't always get back to, sometimes you don't always get the data low to the data high, full-blown two-stage delivery reversal, but sometimes you'll still get like a move back to, equilibrium of that range, maybe sweep like a low-hanging fruit target. So like in this example, you could see potentially where price could come here, grab the data low, right? Potentially form SMT with ES, maybe not. And then if you started seeing displacement back up, well, it'd be pretty hard to not want to get long at least into this buy side level, trade into that first quadrant of the opening range gap, which that would coincide. Like if price did one of these numbers where we trade down, take out data low, right? Kind of get that displacement, PD raise back to the upside. We take out this buy side level here. We trade into that first quadrant. That's actually what, for anybody that watched ICT's lecture from yesterday or last night, that's kind of exactly what he was outlining. And then seeing that first quadrant hold price and continue on these big, large opening range gap days. So today would definitely fall into that category, in my opinion, and according to him as well, with a 160-point opening range gap. So news at 10 a.m. Yeah, we got prelim consumer sentiment here, medium impact. But yeah, not really looking to get in anything right now. We got a few minutes here to the macro. We got news in 10 or at 10. Just kind of eyeing up some possibilities. You know, it's easier to execute when you can anticipate some things in price and then you see everything kind of form. So it's really what I got my eye on right now. I'm watching ES and NQ on my other monitor up here, side by side as well. So keep an eye out for any SMT divergences. Got my levels marked, everything that you'd want to look out for. So what's up, Soft Trades? Good to see you, man. CISD just stands for change in the state of delivery. So like right now I'm showing you the 5-minute chart. Somebody had mentioned earlier about 15-minute change in the state of delivery. So what that would look like would be, they were referring to like these up close candles. And then when you get that candle closure back below the bodies of the up candle opens in this example. So here's the opening price of these up close candles. Once you get a body closure back below this on whatever time frame you're looking at, that's your change in the state of delivery. So basically it's just changing the state of price from bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish, depending on which direction we're going. Jonathan, I don't have an extra promo code. The only promo code I got is the link in the description or pinned to the chat. Which only applies to eligible customers first month. So based on context of your question, I'm assuming it's not your first month. But if it is, it's your lucky day. Who knows? You could have just been asking for a friend. Settings on the session indicator. Settings on the session indicator. Oh, close this. We're taking data low right now, boys and girls. So I'll quickly just show these. Settings. Yeah, here you go. If this is what you're looking for. You really don't have to change anything. The only thing you have to change with this indicator, based on the default settings, is, at least I had to do this, when we have daylight savings time, you have to change, or I had to change this time zone thing. And maybe they updated it so you don't have to anymore, but I remember like when we hit daylight savings, I had to just switch it 1 hour, because you want your kill zones to line up with obviously the actual kill zones of the session, right? So for Asia, you've got 8 p.m. to midnight, right? And then New York midnight hits, and then you've got London from 2 to 5 a.m. So as long as everything is in sync with those time frames beginning, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to change too much. Unless you want to change colors or anything, but that'd be about it. All right, guys, data low being taken here. Obviously, see all these fair value gaps that just pushed us to data low will respond. Might just keep selling off here. We have sell side pretty close. So we got 20,983, and then we got 2933, which would be previous weekly low. Asia, yes. I'm talking about the kill zone, though. Asia session, there's London session, there's New York session, but there's London kill zone, Asia kill zone, New York kill zone. And then obviously you have your other elements of time. Lunch, opening range, macros, etc. Actually is your first month. Actually is my first month. Oh, yeah. First month slash like first account is first month, John. Right? Because your first combine is for 30 days. So yeah, I don't believe the extra discount applies to subsequent resets or anything like that. Did you watch the core content? I'm watching it, but for scalping, I think the information are all in 2022. What do you think? Yeah, scalping is a whole different conversation in my opinion. If I wanted to be a scalper, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not saying that my opinion is worth anything, so take it with a grain of salt. Like if I was a scalper, I probably wouldn't trade ICT concepts, if I'm being honest. I feel like I've seen other strategies perform better with like really quick moves. Like you see some people like trading just kind of for 10 points, 20 points, and then like they're just quickly getting in and out of positions, maybe even like just one-to-one risk rewards really quick, really fast. So I don't know. I just feel like I would use probably something else, because you're really just looking for sensitivity and bounces from levels, right? Whether that be, that's where you could use things like VWAP. I feel like volume profile would be good for that. I believe a lot of scalpers, those are kind of the strategies that they like to employ. So that's what I would do if I was scalping. I feel like ICT concepts can be a little bit more iffy for that, just because everything has to do with the higher time frame narrative. Yes, everything is fractal, and I'm not saying you can't scalp with ICT concepts. I just feel like a lot of this time, if you're scalping in such small intervals, like you have really no choice but to be pretty zoomed into the smaller time frames. And when you're on those smaller time frames, it can be really, really easy to lose sight of what's going on in the bigger time frame narrative. And that's generally where obviously most ICT traders struggle in the first place, is being so zoomed in and then losing sight of what's actually happening on a bigger picture. So that's just my opinion, though. Somebody will hear me say that and just say skill issue. Oh, this guy can't trade ICT concepts consistently on the 1 second chart. Loser. But yeah, I did watch core content a long time ago. It's been a while. So yeah, Flannel Friday. That's right. It just felt right in the shield. I got it this morning. This flannel was speaking to me, and I just said, "Oh, it's time." Plus, we got some snow overnight, so it just kind of felt right. It just kind of felt right to throw a little flannel action on. Obviously, we're 4 or 5 minutes into the macro here now. We got news in 5 minutes. Sell side still in sight. More sell side, I should say. TBM is good for scalping. Yeah. I believe that's what he does, right? I don't know exactly like his strategy necessarily. I just know he goes for like really fast, quick moves. And then obviously when you're copy trading 20 accounts, it's $200 to $400 winners spread out across 20 accounts. It's obviously going to do some damage. What's he talking about 2025? I don't know. I haven't seen everything. I just watched the video last night. His most recent one. He was talking about opening range gaps, and I didn't think it was anything too groundbreaking necessarily. Just maybe a couple little tidbits about the opening range gap. As far as like the size of it, how you can expect it to behave, things like that. So I am essentially kind of deploying what he went over last night with what you see here with these quarters. quadrants. This is the quadrants of today's opening range gap. Today's opening range gap was 160 points. In that video, he mentioned anything over 120 points. Generally, you see price just continue in the direction of that gap, which today we gapped down. So as of right now, it's kind of what we're getting, but we'll see. You know, two-stage delivery is generally what I try to go for on these days. So for those of you guys that are new to, I guess what that means for these big high-impact news driver days, NFP, obviously here's our data candle for the release of the NFP event this morning, pre-market. Put in a high, put in a low, and then generally come market open into silver bullet hour, which is 10 a.m., looking for that possible reversal after taking out one extreme of the range, looking for that reversal back towards the other extreme of the range from that data. It's not 100%, nothing in trading is, but on a yearly basis, we have 12 NFP Fridays. So, like last year, just off the top of my head, I'm going to say there was 10 out of 12 months where we fully were given a two-stage delivery. And then there were probably 2 where we got like maybe a partial retracement and then a continuation, or we just saw price just continue strong in one direction without really much opportunity. There was no reversal at all. But go back, test it for yourself. Look into it. Don't take my word for it. Oh. I think we're headed down to 2,900. Yeah. Possibly. I got 933 marked here. Previous weekly low. So, staying patient. Waiting for price to show me something. Little subtle SMT forming at the moment on the 1 minute chart with ES and NQ here at this low. ES made one more lower low here on the 1 minute structure. So something to be mindful of if we do see price quickly displace to the upside here. But no displacement. I'm going to say no trade for me. We got big ranges as well, guys. So this is like from where we're at right now to current low on NQ is almost 50 points. So make sure your sizing is appropriate. We don't want anyone blowing their back out on NFP Friday. Which mentorships did you watch? I mean, I've watched pretty much... I feel like I've watched pretty much the meat and potatoes of all of his mentorships over the years. I can't say I've watched every single second of every single one of his videos. You know, like when he's, I think back to like 23 and 24, there was, you know, he's just doing some like market reviews. And then a lot of it was just kind of rambling and ranting, and, you know, I would either fast forward, skim through a lot of that stuff or whatever. But there was, I didn't always, I'm just going to be honest, I didn't always find those reviews useful. Because I think what a lot of traders will run into with that is like they see maybe the way that he executed. And I'm not saying that's bad necessarily, but I'm also not going to say that's good, because if you have a certain model, you know, and you've done some back testing, you've seen it play out many times in your forward testing, and you've got a lot of reps with a certain model, well, trying to take away something from ICT, maybe executing a little differently than what your model would suggest, and then you try to like go into the market with, you know, trying to execute like ICT versus executing like something you've actually backtested yourself and have reps with yourself. That's not always the right answer. I'm not saying, you always want to be open to refining and learning, but it can be a double-edged sword. And I especially think for a lot of newer traders, it definitely can be the case. As a newer trader, a lot of these people are so susceptible, as I was when I was new. Like, you're so susceptible to just never be wrong. Like, you always want to win. And every time you lose, you just open up to the idea of like jumping strategies and trying something else because, oh, you lost, so it must be the strategy's fault. It must be your model's fault. And it's not always the case. Sometimes your model just doesn't show up. Sometimes the entry that you needed to see to take an entry didn't present itself. So if you didn't take a trade, I don't think that's a bad thing. And then, I think just the more you try to jump around, the longer you're kind of pushing off any sort of consistency in your trading. If that makes sense. Long here entered 8:59 says Ironside Gaming, or 9:50. So 2 minutes ago. I'm sorry to hear that. You absolutely just got fucked. He longed, Ironside Gaming longed right before this Drake candle down. I'm assuming from this fair value gap, this little teeny tiny fair value gap is where he longed. Sorry to hear it, game side. Or Ironside Gaming. Hope you had a stop loss. I see what you were trying to go for though, if that helps. $9.33 incoming here. ES is running its sell side right now, though. See if NQ will do the same. Probably likely will. ES running out these lows right now. NQ running out this low. Where is 933? I must mark that out on a previous. Yeah. This low here. I marked it this low. Oh, fuck. Which is also being ran. All right. Well, we've pretty much wiped out every sell side level we talked about. So you could say we're in a deep discount. And news at 10 a.m. was our last driving force. Yeah, TGIF could be in play as well. You guys were saying that right at 10 a.m. though, so I don't know how many of you guys were expecting price to make another dive lower here or not. Ironside Gaming, don't worry, lost taken, forgot that news. Yeah, it happens, Ironside. I've been there. Might go to sleep soft trades. Yeah, I didn't sleep the best last night. I like woke up randomly like 4 a.m. and I just feel like I laid there asleep for like an hour and a half before I fell back asleep. Ain't that the worst, guys, when you wake up like a few hours before your alarm and then like you're just awake for like 1 to 2 hours. You fall back asleep like 30 minutes before your alarm goes off, and then by the time it goes off, you're like, dude, I just want to fucking sleep for another 2 hours. You guys know what I'm saying? Or is that just me? Why not shorting to the weekly draw on liquidity? I don't know. I guess I'm not skilled enough. Not skilled enough, I guess. Close your eyes and sell day, Oscar? It might be. It might be one of them days, boys. TGIF is thank God it's Friday. Basically a retracement on the weekly candle from the high to the low to about 20 to 30% of the range is the target. So if you draw a fib on your weekly candle and then in your settings add in 20 and 30%, that'd be the TGIF reversal. Can you explain Top Step X resets? Yeah, what exactly specifically would you like me to explain, David? They're the exact same as all the other account resets. You let's say you buy a combine, you blow your account, break a rule. Let's say you did that your first couple of days on the account and you're like, okay, I want to reset this account. You go in your Top Step dashboard, reset that account. You have to pay the exact same cost that you did to start the combine. And then basically just resets your account back to a fresh account. But the renewal on that will still renew 30 days from when you purchased the combine. So that is something to keep in mind. I would always say, like, if you get to a point where you blow your combine, I don't know, a week out from your renewal, you're probably best off to just cancel and just start a new one. Restart your 30-day clock. Wouldn't make much sense otherwise to only have a 7-day clock and then get hit with a renewal after you just paid, right? Three days in a row, taking 1 to 1R because I'm scared of losing that profit, but marking out 1 to 4 or 8R. And I'm always right, but if I do the revenge trade and enter again, it kicks me out and goes there. Because I'm scared of losing that profit. You might have to elaborate a little bit more on what your exact situation is, Dezakul Amanja. Because it just sounds like there's not a whole lot of consistency in any sort of a plan there. And my advice would always be, whatever you were doing that got you to a certain point of profitability, like, stop trying to fuck with it. Like, just keep doing the same thing, right? You're always going to have situations in the market where you can cherry pick. Well, this day I should have did this. Well, that day I should have did that instead. That you like. None of us are fucking fortune tellers, boys and girls. Ain't one of us knows what day we're going to do this or what day we're going to do that, what day we're going to expand here, what day we're going to, retrace and chop around. Like, none of us know, right? And I promise you that the times you try to cherry pick, it's always going to do the opposite of what you're trying to do. Because you're jumping around doing this and doing that. There's no consistency there. So, like, if your model is like a 1 to 2 or right around there, right? Like, just stick with it. Regardless of your P&L. Like, you got profit, you don't got profit, don't matter. Like, and you could also say that if there's any sort of like confusion on where you should take a trade and all these types of things, well then, guys, you got the easiest default answer ever. Don't take anything. Like, if you're not 100% convicted, I'm not going to ever say you're 100% certain. Like, nobody knows what's going to happen every time. But like, if it isn't like really obvious that you should do X, Y, or Z thing for a given trade you're looking at, just don't trade. Just watch. Tape read it. You miss a move, who gives a fuck? Like, there's gonna be more trades to be had. Ethan took a short. Yeah, nice. Good day for it. Yeah, I agree with you, YM. I do agree with you, YM. It can be a little bit fast and furious and obviously volatile here with like NFP news, but yeah, this does align pretty for those of you guys that did watch ICT's most recent video for 2025. Yeah, it's actually playing out exactly how he kind of outlined it in that video, in my opinion, with the opening range gap and having a really large opening range gap over 120 points. We're seeing price just continue to trade in the direction of that gap opening. So it's pretty accurate as far as that goes. Obviously, first day paying attention to that specifically. Took the gold buy today. Did it work? Please help with the 50% profit target rule. Like, my best day was 2,000, so I should not make more than that to reach the profit target. Yeah, so 50% of whatever your obviously account size is. So if you are on a 50K account, like a 150K account, it's $4,500, which would be 50% of your profit target of 9K. And then obviously, depending on your account size, so what is the 50K again? 50K is a 3K target. So 1,500 consistency rule for the combine only. That's the big thing, guys, is the consistency rule does not apply to your XFA. It's only for the combine. So yeah, you can't pass your combine in one day. You'd have to do it in at least 2. But yeah, if you are, like, let's say it's your first day and you make over 50% of your profit target, then what will happen is when you, let's say like the next day, you were to make enough to hit your profit target, but your first day, you made more than what you should have technically. Like, let's say you made 500 more, 1,000 more. Basically, you would have to trade that amount above your profit target if it's your second day. Now, your averages will start to change as you trade more days, right? So if you pass it in 4 days, 5 days, it'll be different than if it was your second day, right? Because when it's only 2 days of data, you've got 2 days and it's split right in half with a 50% consistency rule. So, yeah, it just doesn't ever make any sense to, like, if you're on account, like, let's say you're on a 150K combine account and you have a trade that is up $4,500, it would make no sense ever in any universe on a combine to not close that trade out. There's no point in holding it there's no reason at all to hold it. You're only going to hurt yourself actually if you hold it, to be honest. Short story, taking small profits like 0.5% when I can take at least 2 to 3% because I'm scared to lose that profit. Yeah, that's a real thing. And I just think the only thing I could say about that is just with time and experience, that'll become easier. But when you're a newer trader, and I definitely don't mean this in a bad sense. I've been trading for a while, and I don't consider myself like, I know everything. I'm the best at everything. Like, I still have my struggles. I still struggle with FOMO and greed at times. I still struggle with, like, that feeling of like, maybe I should just take it off, right? Because I'm going to be so pissed if it comes back or whatever. And then it's like, when I try to do that, it'll go and I'm like, fuck, I should have held it. So I still struggle with the same stuff from time to time. But like, I just think the best thing that you can do, and definitely speaking for myself, like, I just have to I got to set up guardrails to take my emotions out the best I can. And how do you do that? You do that by having some level of consistency with whatever model you're using, and you fucking stick to it as best you can. You might not always be perfect, but the moment you try to get fancy, get cute, do something outside of your norm, and try to fix something that isn't broken, that's just where you allow emotions to come into play, because it's easy to play both sides of that. You can play the, I should have held, I would have made more. You can play that card. And then when, you do hold and then you get stopped at break even or whatever, it's like, then you can play that card against yourself. And it's just like, it's a lose-lose battle. But if you have a certain model that you've traded and backtested and that gives you an edge, you have your rules in place, and either the only question is not the outcome. The question is, did you follow your rules or not? And if you did, then the outcome really doesn't matter. Got stopped at break even, who cares? Took a loss, who cares? Hit your target, awesome. Like, everything else is going to be super, like, just emotionally inducing. So that's what I would say. I don't know if that's the best advice in the world, but mainly just because there's nothing that I can say that's just going to be a magic fix for that. It's just something that, with time and your experience, it's everything that you'll do to refine how you trade. But yeah, nothing I say is going to make it easier for you're still going to have those thoughts and emotions run through your brain. It's very normal. Very, very normal. I haven't taken any trades yet, no. Nope. No trades for me yet. It's just been pretty heavy. Somebody asked earlier why I didn't sell to the previous weekly low, the draw and liquidity. We definitely outlined it. Like, when I started the stream, I pointed those lows out to you guys right away, and I said I think it's pretty likely that we could just see price trade to them. Why I didn't do that is, I don't know, like, when we sell off like this, especially with like a news event like NFP, we sell off here, almost 300 points. Generally speaking, I'm kind of always looking for that 2-stage delivery. It's just like my go-to bias for these days. And either it gives me something clean I can trade, or it doesn't. It's probably an area that I could use some improvement on in my trading. I definitely struggle, like somebody said earlier in the chat, I forget who said it, Oscar, I think. He was like, just one of those days where you just blindly click the sell button and close your eyes. And obviously the same thing happens the other way too, right? Where it just goes up and up and up all day. Like, right from the open, it just goes one direction and that's it. As ICT traders, whether you want to categorize yourself this way or not, we're reversal traders, right? When you're talking about liquidity levels being swept, displacement back the other direction, I mean, you're looking for a reversal setup. That's what you're looking for. And even if you trade a continuation, like, you're still waiting for those pullbacks into premium or discount, fair value gap, get some manipulation at the low, scale in, take your entry. So that is still a reversal inside of a continuation. Like, a lot of these models and setups are reversal concepts, right? So it's always been somewhat of a challenge for me to, when we get a big move in one direction, especially like right at the open, NFP, take out a level of interest right inside of a macro, all of these things. It's always hard for me to just like, what am I going to keep shorting? We fucking sold off. Like, in my mind, I've already missed the move. Like, we sold off all of these points. I'm not going to just keep shorting. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I missed the move. It is what it is. Yeah, Nick. I would just say keep it under the consistency rule for the combine. Once you're in the XFA, yeah, fucking go nuts. Ironside longed again. CISD. Oh, 5 minutes ago. I'm late on your messages. Sorry. Longed again. CISD. Oh, on the 1 minute or yeah, I don't see a CISD on the 5. I'm looking at the 5 minute chart up here on my other monitor. Looks like you're in some profit at the moment, Ironside. Wow, that's 50 points. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for something a little bit more obvious in terms of displacement. Like I'm looking at these 1 minute candles, kind of just, you know, the long wicks, not really any fair value gaps being left behind. We're outside the macro now. We're trading into a higher time frame, 5 minute imbalance right now. 5 minute 5 minute SIBI here on ES and NQ. Show you guys that here on the 5 minute chart. Check 15 second. All right, I'll do it just for fun. You can always. What? Hang on. Let me see. Wow, there aren't really even any gaps on this chart. I don't know if that's what you were trying to like get me to look at. That's crazy though. But I was gonna say, yeah. When in doubt, the more you zoom in, you'll find a fair value gap somewhere if you keep zooming in far enough. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Pretty slow and lethargic move up here, to be honest, relative to how we've been moving today. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'd rather go into the weekend with no trades taken than a loss. God help me. God deliver me from evil. Deliver me from stop loss. In your son's holy name. Amen. Lord, deliver me from stop loss. You know what I'm saying, boys? Come on now. Yeah, it's always the worst. I hate losing on a Friday. It's the worst. Friday is outside of NFP. Like NFP is like, if anybody were to ask me just in general what my favorite day of a month to trade, I'm probably saying either NFP or CPI. I love trading NFP and CPI days. But outside of NFP Friday, I mean, it's actually pretty hit or miss, I would say. For me, not for, can't speak for all the amazing ICT traders on social media land, but for me, it's pretty hit or miss on Friday, just in general. Definitely best days are Tuesday through Thursday for me. It's always a little bit more inconsistent, I would say, Monday and Fridays. But you'll have your good and your bad. What's your bias now that key sell side has been taken? you could probably guess what my, I don't want to call it a bias. I'll more so call it like what I want to see. I want to see longs, if anything, because I'm just not going to short. In my mind I've missed the shorts. Like, I'm not interested in joining this move after a 500 point sell off. And keep in mind, guys, the stock market, this stuff's kind of built to go up. What is it, like on an intraday basis? It's like 60% that the stock market is going up versus going down. So if there's ever a bias to be a little bit more stubborn with, like 10% more stubborn with, probably be longs over shorts. But let me look it up here. Might have to ask Chat GPT instead. Okay, so here's your data according to Chat GPT, boys. How often is stock market going up? We got our trends here. Let's see. Obviously, you got long term. We don't really worry about that day to day. So it says on a day to day basis, the stock market goes up 53 to 55% of the time. So I guess I was off a little bit. I feel like last time I asked it said 60, but or maybe I got it from this. Monthly market post gains of approximately 60% of the time. And then annually 70 to 75%, right? So day to day, still over half, boys. Hey, still over half. Yeah, I'm just waiting, Michael. Just downloaded COD Modern Warfare Remastered. Gonna be the shit out of it all weekend. There you go. Does anybody in here watch football, or am I the only one? I feel like every time I've mentioned football, American football, by the way, none of this soccer bullshit. We had Notre Dame and Penn State last night. Great game. We got Ohio State, Texas tonight. And then obviously we got wild card weekend, boys. No, Amine. That's definitely called soccer. I don't care what anyone says. It's absolutely called soccer. No, Colonel Sanders. You're wrong. Mama's right. Mama said that it is called soccer. You're tilted right now? Yeah. That's what you get. That's what you get for calling it football. Welcome to America, pal. That's right. I got something else for you, too.
I'm gonna come.
That's right. Texas or Ohio State? Oh, man. I think I'm rooting for want to say I'm rooting for Texas. But I think if I was a bet man, I think I'd say Ohio State. I'll be honest, I don't watch nearly as much college as I do like NFL, but hey, when you're a Packer fan, can you really blame me? We're absolutely spoiled. Justin, you're a Texans fan. Who do they got? Texans, why am I forgetting who they play? You got Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Chargers. I don't know. I don't sports bet, like, ever. I've only done it like a couple times in my life. But I might cook up a fat little parlay for this weekend, just for fun. No, I'm not going to invest in Trump meme coins. This is actually hilarious. I don't know if he's on here or not. It's possible that he might be, but I don't think he is. So what will technically become... Well, hang on. How does that work? So, my sister's fiance's little brother is like getting into trading. He's pretty young. I don't know exactly how old he is. He's like 18, 19, 20 years old. So like fresh out of high school. He's trading options though. So we were like talking about it at the end of the last year, and he was like telling me about options, and I tried to explain like futures and like leverage trading to him. But yeah, he's doing options, so I'm like, oh well, have fun I guess with that. But anyway, no, he hits me up last night and he was like, I'm having some crypto issues. I was hoping maybe you could help. I'm like, oh God. In my mind, I'm thinking this guy like sent his money to like the wrong address. I'm like, yeah, bro, your money's gone. Sorry. And turns out he's on Coinbase wallet. He was trying to buy, or he bought a coin called Trump Dogs. And I'm just like, dude, meme coins. But anyway, so then he was trying to swap it back to Ethereum, and it wouldn't let him on Coinbase. But it's just funny you asked me if I'm buying the Trump coins when just last night this dude hit me up and was having trouble with his Trump meme coin swaps. So but I was just like, yeah, dude, fucking, you're just getting into trading, and I don't know, maybe that's common. I don't know. Like, you're just getting into trading in crypto, and like, you know what? Let's not dip our toe in. Let's fucking dive headfirst into options in meme coins. What could possibly go wrong? Loser trader equals soccer. Yeah, well, listen. American football is football. And soccer is soccer. Okay? And of course, every name saying otherwise, I just can tell by reading the name that you're in a totally different hemisphere. Anybody in the northwestern hemisphere of the world absolutely agrees with me. Anybody in any of the other three probably disagree. No, Joel, I did not catch shorts. Did not catch shorts. Did you? Do I think you should take a payout after 5 winning days or build 2K cushion and take payout after? Well, you can do whatever you want, but my rule of thumb is if you've got cushion over your buffer, like, yeah, feel free to take out payouts beyond that would be my suggestion. I think if you're not at your buffer yet, then it's a little bit dicey just because you really kind of give yourself not a lot of wiggle room. But at the end of the day, it's your account. So there really isn't a wrong answer, to be honest. Always wondered how you guys play football with your hands. We play with our feet a little bit. We kick it like 3% of the time. Fucking soccer. I think the craziest thing about soccer is they run like, what is it, like 7? Is that accurate? They run like 7 miles per game on average. But then again, it's like, man, some of these guys on the football field got to run a lot too. You got to think about like these receivers, they're running all the way downfield just to not get the ball thrown to them. Then they got to come back, do it all over again. Fucking soccer. See these guys flopping on the ground because some guy tugged on his jersey. Oh my God, soccer. Give me some shin guards. Oh yeah, Travis Hunter's absolutely. I think I'd be dead if I was him, to be honest. I think I'd be dead if I was Travis Hunter, and if not from playing both sides on the football field, it would be from his girlfriend probably. What a mess, dude. Look at this, boys. We're getting a nice reversal. I'll show you guys the 5-minute chart. It looks pretty clean. I'm just watching like the price action here between ES and NQ. Obviously, we're starting to inverse now this 5-minute inefficiency on NASDAQ. ES playing a little bit of catch up for the moment, lagging behind. So NQ is stronger. We have 10:40 a.m. roughly. Macro in about 10 minutes. For this 5-minute chart, for those of you guys asking about like changing the state of delivery, if we do get our close above this open here, there's your change in the state of delivery on a 5-minute chart. Because all of this up close candle, series of down close candles, up close, up close, up close. I don't classify. I think this. I don't know if this is up close or down close. I just look at it as a doji. So on this 5-minute time frame, I would look to this as that change in the state. Some ICT trader somewhere's gonna be like, well, no, technically this is closed bearish, so that's your change in state actually if it closed above that. Whatever. Trading into some 15-minute inefficiency here as well. I'll show you guys. We have 5 minutes left of this 15-minute candle. I'm not in a rush to like chase this buy move. Getting long, or if I do get long, I'm looking to target obviously first highs here, first quadrant of the opening range gap, and then maybe data high. See what forms here. What time of day is this? So this is 10. This is like right after the macro. Just kind of in a slow grind up here. You're forward testing along from the 5-minute IFVG. The only issue with this in today's market, you'd definitely have to scale down. But like this IFVG, like by the time we closed above it, I guess you'd say here. You know, putting your stop below like this candle or the candle that created the IFVG, you're looking at a 100-point stop. Sheesh. I mean, price is holding bullish order flow for the moment. Part of me just wants to wait though and get into this next macro. Like, I don't think it'd be crazy to think price can maybe retrace and then set something up. If not, I can look for a subsequent leg to get in on. Still got our targets in place. Yeah. I mean, technically these big stops, like they can always be taken with, you know, like a small amount of micros, and it's not a big deal, but also nothing wrong with just not taking it either. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching, Allie. Like I'm watching, we are in between PD arrays, and we're just outside of the time window that I would prefer to see something for him. So I'm just sitting on my hands waiting for right now, but you know, I pointed out that 15-minute, we're inside of a 15-minute fair value gap as well. I'm assuming you're talking about like this SIBI here above these highs. Obviously showing respect at the moment as well. But if we were to get something like this, trade back down, potentially to discount of this range, we get to the macro here in the next 5 minutes, then we set something up. Oh man, that would be just juicy. Absolutely juicy. And then that would give us a lot of room to trade to just this kind of short-term high. Yeah. But like, look at this. Look at these 30-minute charts here. ES and NQ. What is there anything that kind of sticks out to you guys when you look at this chart zoomed out like this? Where do your guys' eyes, like what sticks out to you? Not everybody at once. Yep. So basically everything you guys are saying lowers this liquidity run, buy side, sell side swept, AMD. That is what I see as well. I see all of this. Both indices. Jagged edges here at the lows. Sell side taken. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution is what I see as well. Setting up. What's up, Bobby? I haven't taken anything yet today. I've been patiently like waiting for an opportunity to long. And now we're obviously getting this move up. I haven't pressed the button yet, though. We're so close to this macro. I was trying to wait it out. We're 3 minutes out. I don't mind the look of this 3 minute. Kind of clears up a little bit of that muddiness on the 1. I like this close here on this 3 minute candle. We inversed here on the 3 minute as well. Makes a guy wonder if you could get something like this. See if we get a retap of that down close candle. Stop below this low here. Puts you at a 1 to 3R, just looking to target that with a 37-point stop. I'm going to go ahead and set a limit on that. If it activates, you know, we're looking at macro as well. But definitely some PD rays here. Obviously sponsored by a lower time frame efficiency here. You've got your bullish breaker / order block here, whatever you'd like to call that. And we're just seeing bullish order flow holding, so see if we could get this. Macro is starting. But yeah, limit set at the open of this down close candle. Just got triggered in. I think if I'm wrong and this reverses, I'll be wrong pretty fast. Like we'll see this flip fucking quick. And then this will become a bearish order block. Yes, money glitch. Accidentally hit max drawdown because you misclicked. Oh shit. Yeah, it's looking like a quick stop, boys. Yep, stopped out. Told you if I was wrong, this was gonna be wrong fast. You can see the formation candle now flipping. It's like flipping right back to a bearish PD area. Look at the 5 minute. I liked it too with this 5 minute. We had that 5 minute close right at the macro beginning. Back above here. And now you can just see it flipping right back. We'll see if this thing just wants to push for the lows again. We did trade up into OT of this recent range. Yeah, it was 69 points. Holy shit. 50 points is a lot too. Bro, I might have to just I'd maybe have to take this on like my Top Step X with micros. See how this closes here. We got 50 seconds left. So, because it failed, I wanted to see just continuations long. Obviously, if someone were to stick with the bullish bias, you're looking at that. I'm going to try this short on my Top Step X account with some micros and go for the low. Oh, come on, dude. I did not enter yet. I don't want to chase it. I didn't get entered. I was waiting for it to tap this open. Hesitated just a second too long. And now it's kind of running away. I went ahead and put a limit on the open of this 5 minute. And then this will be my position. So last trade of the morning here, because if this is wrong and we just keep flying higher, then well, I'm just gonna go draw a bath and throw my toaster in it quick. But yeah, 2 trades will be 2 trades will be my limit for today. Turning from today's first presentation. Today's first presentation. Today's first presentation. Yeah. Yup, sure is. Damn. Damn, she actually might not fill my order. Well, yeah, Pluto. I almost just market executed in. I literally waited. I was waiting like another second, and I hesitated. And I didn't press the sell button. So I did not get filled here. Unfortunately. Did anybody else grab this once we saw this close? I think I was just being too stingy. I was being a little too stingy with it. Yeah, there's a lot of points too. To this low is 180 points. ES might beat NQ to the low, which would form some bullish SMT, but man, oh man. You guys are saying bearish SMT with ES. Are you talking about... Oh. The move above... You guys are talking about the move above these highs here. Yeah. I got the 1 minute chart pulled up here. up here. I was looking at it. You're saying institutional order flow entry drill, but looking at the 1 minute chart, this is where the 5 minute candle closed, right? 55, right? Where's 55? Here's where this is a 50 AM candle. So 54 right here. Candle closed right here. Inside of this 1 minute fair value gap, we got that little wick up. I was obviously being stingy and wanted this. I wanted this open tap. So by the time I started reacting away here, I hesitated and I waited. So that's why I didn't grab the entry. Hesitated, didn't press the button, so your emotions got the best of you. No. Usually if I'm emotional, when I'm emotional, I'm literally usually just fucking pressing the button without that's my least problem is pressing the button when I'm emotional. I have no problem pressing the button. I'll press the button at any second. You think I give a shit what fucking PD array we're in? If I'm on tilt, I'm on tilt. No. But I can always count on Tyler as a puppet 6. Amongst others. Amongst others. Go ahead and delete this. You have this 1 minute fair value gap here. Price obviously is tapping into. I might go ahead and play this with this stop. No. That's when you were telling me about Pluto? Well, there you go. I hope you're proud of me. We'll see if it hits though. You're probably not proud of me because I didn't get the first tap. Yeah. If it runs away, it runs away. I kind of already feel like I missed it. I am watching ES as well. I feel like once ES takes this low, position is over. Tyler's a puppet says I'm forcing. No, I disagree. I feel like I'd be forcing if I was just like YOLOing into the position. Like, oh my god, it's just gonna run, and I'm afraid I'm gonna miss it, so I'm just gonna get in. Like, I'm still trying to be patient and calculated. And if I get my entry, I get it. If I don't, I don't. So I disagree with the forcing sentiment. But your opinion is always appreciated, Tyler's a puppet 6. And more importantly, it never disappoints. Oops. So just hedge with 1 micro. Hop in, worst case, you clear 150. I'm good. Around 130, there's a chance TGIF might occur. Chances are low because market is heavy as fuck. Yeah, definitely not looking like we're getting a TGIF in AM session, that's for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and set an alert here on ES as low. We're outside the macro now as well. Yeah, there was a 5-minute fair value gap as well. I could maybe move my entry down to the beginning of this gap. But then I'd want to see this be a breakaway. And not trade back to it. So let's see if we can get that on the 5. Pluto, I thought you were talking about this gap as well. Or at first, but yeah, with the candle closure, we got a new 5-minute. Plus this inversion here. We'll see if we get it, boys and girls. Open anything attached to nothing. It's my fault either way that I hesitated up here. I want to project a couple of things out, just see where things line up. Got these lows all the way back over here in November. Basically perfect alignment with -1. So, yeah, I mean, this whole BPR would need to fail in order for stop to be hit, but oh, here we go. Might get picked up. Don't jinx it. Yeah, Pluto, it's just hard for me to I'm not going to lie, it's kind of hard for me to think that we're going to get hang on. Don't tell me. If I switch to this ES chart and there's a 5-minute fair value gap on ES that was tapped into, and NQ doesn't tap the gap, I'm probably going to go to California and start some fires. Okay, we're good. But no, yeah, Pluto, what I was saying about the like the only thing that makes me like not super confident that we'll get all the way down to -1, I don't know, I mean, maybe we could, but it's just that's so many points, dude. We've already moved a lot today. And it's Friday. Like we've already seen a 450 point move, we'll call it. Move to here would be 700, I guess. Not impossible, but perhaps you could understand my tentativeness. All right, boys. I hopped in with some micros on Top Step X on a combine. My fill is 952. Just in case this thing just dumps. Same stop loss. And it is, of course. The account I actually don't care as much about. Fucker. We just took out the low. I trailed stop the break even on it. Yeah. You can see the my original sell limit still up where the 5-minute change in the state was. All right, stop the break even, sick. So this might get picked up after. I'm just gonna let this get hit now. I'm done on this, I think. Unless the original sell limit gets hit, I'll leave it. But yeah, I'm waiting for ES or NQ, one of them, to trade through these low here. Might get picked up here, boys. Oh. In the arms of the angel. Bro, if you do this shit again and don't put me in, it's so over. It's so over for you, NQ, if you don't trigger my entry at this point. I know where you live. I've seen where you sleep. Your mother will cry when she sees what I've done to you. Hitting a 10-minute fair value gap right now. Bro, get the fuck out of here. There we go. All right, last trade of the morning. I'm going to keep my limit on at this 5 minute up here, though, on my Top Step X account. Just FYI. So if this trade fails, I will let this original short be triggered in. But yeah, I'll call it if this trade obviously loses here for the stream. Want to see these lows delivered, ES or NQ, whichever hits first. See what we get. Let's see what we get, boys. Go, Pack, go. Candle closing in 5 seconds. Looking ahead to next week here quick. No news Monday, PPI Tuesday, CPI Wednesday, retail sales and unemployment Thursday. So next week, stream schedule will probably look like Tuesday through Friday, boys and girls. I gotta say that before the trade's over, because once the trade's over, everybody will be gone. It's me, fam. What's up? So let me get this straight. Rita, hold on, Rita. Hold on, Rita. Hold on. Rita says, Pluto Trades, thank you for advice to buy. I'm already break even, laughing face. This was a minute ago. Now Rita says, I'm just kidding. I'm waiting for another macro. I'm just kidding. ES is absolutely 100% certainty going to beat NQ to the low. I'm waiting for NQ to trade below the low and then looking to remove risk. $10.30 or $11.30 right here. Opening. There we go. And then, yeah, ES taking out the low first. I think I'll just close it for SMT. Although I don't know, Pluto would agree. Pluto would maybe say hold it for 20,600. I don't know. I like low hanging fruit here though. $500 on 20 accounts. Sheesh. Someone's buying dinner. I'll take a steak, please. Thanks. Oh. We're almost there. No, I don't. No, Chris, I added another monitor to my setup going into this year, so I might only show like the 5-minute or whatever time frame I'm looking at here, but like I always have like other time frames over here. I had just a 2-monitor setup, but ever since I started streaming, like a big portion of my screen on my other monitor is taken up by like OBS, the chat. So I needed a third, or I wanted a third. I didn't need one, but that way I don't got to do as much jumping around time frames. Three Ironside. I'll take some profits once we hit one of these levels. It's a bad habit for me to form closing trades before I should. So that's naughty. I'd rather get stopped at break even and follow my plan. The market movers definitely don't like me. That's facts. We're just holding on. That liquidity level's hanging by a thread. Come on, ES. Die, you son of a bitch. Every time I move my hand closer to the mouse to get ready to close it, it goes back up. So I just gotta sit back. Yeah, Tyler's a puppet. That is actually the thing about the market is anything could happen, right? It might not hit the low. There's always a chance that that's a possibility. If it wins, I'll buy you a Cybertruck. Yeah, I'm posting that and holding you accountable to it. Because I've been seeing some Cybertrucks around town, and they're fucking sick. You know, minus the one that blew up in front of the Trump Tower in Vegas, but... Yay! ES took the low. So closed the trade on the account of the SMT divergence. Still have decent confidence the price on NQ will also stay heavy, but just be safe. Just to be safe. Cybertruck it is. They make Cybertrucks in different colors. Can you give me the Trump wrapped one, like the one that Aiden Ross got him? Cause that was sick. Oh, it counts. It absolutely counts. And I've got 150 other people here as witnesses. It absolutely counts. You closed early. This is the type of stuff the live streamers have to deal with. He said at 10:38, 11:38 New York time in the chat. You closed early, laughing face. 10:36, 2 minutes ago, he said it's not hitting the low. In that same minute, he said it took liquidity and tapped into a bullish fair value gap. At 34, 5 minutes ago, he said take some profits. Take some profits, and then you closed too early 4 minutes later. We love our fans. We love our fans. Alrighty, boys and girls. Let's do a pulse check, shall we? I did 1 loss, 1 win today. I'll go over both here. Let me know how you did, boys and girls. Are you green? Are you red? Are you flat / break even? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Oh, shit. No. There we go. Executions. All right. So, let's recap, shall we? Before we go. Come on. Live a little, boys. Data low. All right. So, recap coming into the day. Let's try to recap everything here. Let me turn all this shit off. Starting off, one of the first things we mentioned to start the stream, for anybody that was tardy to class, we mentioned actually the lesson from ICT's lecture last night, which was about opening range gap. And basically my main takeaway personally from his lecture, because there isn't really anything super new about, you know, marking up a gap, using quadrants, like that's all pretty standard. And definitely things that he's lectured on before. But my takeaway from the lecture was, and I'll type this out, opening range gap. I would go watch the lecture if you have time. It wasn't a very long one, which is why I watched it. Opening range gap, obviously it's regular trading hours, not new day opening gap, so they're different things. If you're confused on that, go watch the video. But opening range gap, if it is, he said, below, what's the less than sign? Below about 70 points on NQ. That is when you can oftentimes expect price to essentially go back and fill the full gap, if not trade all the way through the gap. So equals gap fill / reversal. And then 70 to 120 points. NQ equals iffy. So it could do either or. It could just trade away from the gap, or it could reverse. You kind of just have to wait for other confluences to form a bias. And then basically 120 points plus. And Q equals generally continuation. So price will continue in the direction of the opening range gap. So this was my personal takeaway from the lecture. And basically, when you get this, what he said in the lecture, I'd go back and watch it, is if you do see price does trade back into this opening range gap, you should expect the first quadrant to push price back toward the direction of the whichever way we opened, right? So in today's examples, we basically just kept selling off. Our bias going into the day was open to the idea of a two-stage delivery event, which did not happen. Two-stage delivery event, if I go back to electronic trading hours. Two-stage delivery event, if I delete this opening range gap quadrant. Generally, data high, data low. Once one is swept, you look for the reversal towards the other. So that's generally what my bias would be on a NFP day. Stuck with that bias for a long time. Obviously, my first trade was a loss trying to get long, essentially from the 3-minute or a 3-minute PD array, which the reason I was so quick to flip was because price had traded up. Obviously, we were bearish, but price had traded up to OTE of this dealing range, right? So we see price obviously sell off again through data lows, and then we trade all the way up. Someone had mentioned this was first presentation for value gap as well, so just a little extra confluence there. Trade up into that, OTE of the range, and then I basically said if this long fails, it's probably going to be fast, and then we're going to form a bearish order block, which is literally exactly how it ended up playing out. So I ended up longing here, stopped below this low here, got stopped out very quickly, was looking to take it up to this high. And then once we saw price continue to push and close below, that was when I just flipped to shorts. Off this 5-minute, I hesitated on the initial entry. Could have market executed inside of, obviously, this wick here on the 5-minute once we got this close below here, giving us a change in the state of delivery. And then had to wait for something a little bit lower to form, which was ended up being this BPR 5-minute. Wanted to see this 5-minute gap become a breakaway gap and not return back into it. So that's why the stop was there. Fill 696 and a quarter, exit 907.75. 907.75. So it ended up being a 61.5 point trade. It took the trade off once we took out the low with ES and formed SMT divergence. And as you guys can see here, I'm watching it on my other monitor here, but take a gander at this, folks. Take a gander at this. This is why I always just take a trade off if we form SMT against like my target. So if ES gets to it first, I just take the fucking trade off. Because I've made the mistake plenty of times where I'm like, no, NQ's going to hit it too, and then it just doesn't hit it. So I don't try to predict when it's going to, when the SMT fails or not, or doesn't fail. But SMT here. So good decision to take that trade off. Would have been stopped at break even. Any questions, comments, concerns? Looking at the poll here, 64% of people green. Nice. I absolutely love to see it, boys. Yeah, yeah. What do we want to say to that?
Nice.
Mufasa, you know we finally here, right? Well, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday. Hey! 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 Hey!
Oh, boys and girls, happy Friday. Like the stream if you enjoyed in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I do appreciate you guys showing up as always. Like I told you guys before that trade concluded, plan for next week is to live stream Tuesday through Friday, taking Monday off from streaming due to it being a no news Monday, day after NFP, etc., etc. And that's about all I got for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoy your Friday. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you again for showing up, boys and girls. Appreciate yous. And, yeah, man, I will see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.
Our trade sits at his desk, coffee in hand. The NASDAQ chart's on his screen, he's in command. He's a day trader, chasing dollars and dreams. Using ICT concepts, he's got some tricks up his sleeves. From Fibonacci retracements to volume spread analysis, Tyler knows the smart money, he's gaining an advantage. He watches the market like a hawk in the sky. With every tick and every turn, he's catching the high. Running with the smart money, kicking up dust. Tyler trades a day trader you can trust. Dancing with the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire. With the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire.